Before I get into what I want to talk about, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Thomas Threats, as you can see, and that's my real name. Some people think it's a made up name, but it's actually Threats, Thomas Threats. Um, you know, I'm from Detroit, Michigan, you know, but I've also been fortunate enough to live many other places, many other cities, states, even countries, just from my military background. Growing up my dad was in the army, so that helped me move around a lot. I met a lot of different people, a lot of different experiences, a lot of different cultures, and yeah, it actually helped shape my worldview, the way that I see things. And we all are who we are naturally. But when you go through certain things and you have certain experiences, and that shapes you too. So I'm a natural born thinker, you know. Um, I'm curious about life and just the things that come with it. But then living in so many different places that shaped how I see things, and it helped it helped me be able to look at things from different perspectives. Always being the new kid, Well, I have two younger brothers that we moved around with, but always being a new kid, having to adapt to different environments, situations, schools, just all of that. So it shaped me, you know what I mean? So that's that. And yeah, this is something that I'm passionate about, you know, just being able to reach people and uh, motivate people, inspire people, whatever the case may be. So this is that, and that's just a little bit of a background, though. Currently I live in North Carolina. You know, I'm in the capital. I'm in Raleigh, and this is home now. So, but Detroit will always be home, obviously. But just being around different places, different people, I feel comfortable. You can put me in any situation, you can put me in any room, any environment, and I can get along with anybody. I can make people feel comfortable because I lead with respect. So, enough of that. I didn't want to just get on here and talk though, so I said, what can I talk about? And it hit me, balance. Balance. Balance is very important in life in many different aspects. Many different aspects. From what we eat, if we eat too much of the wrong thing, it's not good for us. You know, uh, can't eat all junk food. You have to eat things that are healthy. Balance as far as work, life balance. But the balance that caught my attention was the imbalance of the things that I see on the internet, social media, YouTube, things like that. I noticed that people love negativity. You know, people are attracted and flock to drama. If it has a juicy headline or a scandalous headline or a title or whatever, people run to it, you know. And, I'm guilty too, We all want to be entertained in a sense, you know what I mean? So, but I noticed that even if it's not true, a lot of the things that people run to, as long as it's drama filled or there's some kind of negativity behind it, it's gonna do numbers. People are gonna flock to it in mass. And there are a lot of positive things out there. There are a lot of helpful things out there that don't get as much attention. And I get it. Everybody loves to see the car wreck. Everybody wants to slow down and see what happened, you know. But whether it's entertaining, whether it's investigative, whether it's informative, we all want to be entertained by something. We all want to give our attention to something. But there has to be a balance. You know, it's okay to look up and watch, you know, the latest drama, whatever that may be. I mean, in the way the internet is, it could be something on a large level, it could be something on a low level. But as long as there's drama attached to it, people tune in. But you also need to be able to give that same energy and attention to things that can help you, things that can lift your spirits, things that can enlighten your mind, you know. So balance is very important, you know. And if we take in too much of these negative things, then I think that it speaks to a larger problem, not just in society, but in the world, where we love the drama. And anybody who entertains the drama or projects the negativity, they get all the attention. They get all the attention. But you have people out here who are doing good work, righteous work, God's work, helpful work, but they get overlooked. And maybe that's the way that it's supposed to be, because when you do things for the right reason and you do the right things, it doesn't need to be broadcasted. You know, not saying the negative things need to be broadcasted either, but, you know, I think those who truly want to make a difference and they want to help, they're not worried about the accolades. They're not worried about getting attention, things like that. Now, does it help? Yes, because it can spread awareness. It can spread inspiration. It can spread positivity, you know, and it will light the fire under someone else to say, hey, I like that. I can do that too. Or that's what I want to do. Or it can just give people the image that everything isn't so bad. You know, because if you turn on the internet, you turn on the news, whatever the case, all you see is the negative. All you see is things that are bad in a sense, you know. And it could be disheartening. It could be depressing. So, yeah, balance. We need balance. We definitely need balance. And if we don't have that balance in life, it can weigh on us. It can severely affect us. So when you look at social media, what do you see right now? You see who's going to jail, who's getting killed, who's fighting who, just all kind of. You see who's going to jail, who's getting killed, who's fighting who, just all kind of. You see who's going to jail, who's getting killed, who's fighting who, just all kind of negative things. Also, inspirational stories out there. There are, like down in North Carolina down here, they had the hurricane came, and a lot of people were displaced. They lost their homes, their businesses, and you saw a lot of people who were helping, who were reaching out to help. But things like that don't necessarily get attention. But they want to see the flood. They want to see the rain. They want to see the hurricane. They want to see, you know, so that kind of stuff will get the headlines. But the positivity doesn't get the headlines. And like I said, we're all guilty of it. You know, we want to be entertained. We want to see, hey, oh, wow, that's crazy. But we have to balance that. If you're going to watch something negative, turn around and watch something positive or listen to something positive, you know. And like I said, the balance, it goes all across the board, not just with social media, not just with the internet, just life in general. Balance is very, very key. And if you don't have the proper balance, then it becomes imbalanced. And when something leans too far one way over the other, then you're going to tip over. And that's just the bottom line. So that's something that I've really been paying attention to lately. You know, seeing all of the drama, all of the negativity that people spew or take in, and they do it unconsciously. That's the crazy part. They do it unconsciously. So sometimes it's not their fault, because when that's all they see, then that's all they have to take in. But you have to know how to filter that out, you know, because we're raising a generation of young people who that's all they know. That's all they know. They can turn their phone on and just see all kind of stuff that normally wouldn't be accessible to them. So when you have that mixed with impressionable minds, then they begin to think that that's acceptable and that it's okay and that it's normal. And it's really not normal. It's really not normal. It's very abnormal to be the negativity, the violence, the drama. It's always been there, but now it's on full display and readily available to anybody who seeks it. You know, you can put out something positive, like I said. It could be the most positive thing, the most helpful thing, and it will get overlooked. But the minute you put this sensationalized headline, people are going to click that. People want to see that. And that's a problem, because now it seems like people don't care about the medicine. They rather be infected with the disease. The medicine is the healing. The medicine is the positivity. The disease is the pain, the hurt, the drama, the negativity. And from a societal standpoint, that's just not good. That's just not good, because now you also have people who intentionally feed into it, or they get people to feed into it, because they know, hey, if I can get people to, even if it's not true, because I've seen it, people will make things up just to get the clicks, just to get the likes, just to get the attention, because attention is a hell of a drug, and it's the new drug. And people are addicted to that. And that in itself is a problem. When you become addicted to the wrong thing because you can get paid for it, or it gives you this high, this adrenaline rush that you can't seem to find anywhere else in your life, then that's a problem too. Because now you're misleading people. It's one thing to mislead yourself, but when you intentionally mislead hundreds, thousands, and sometimes millions of people, you know, the blame has to fall somewhere. And we all have choices. We all, you know, nobody's forcing us to pay attention. Nobody's making us give our focus to these things. But there has to be a line drawn somewhere. That balance. I mean, I can't say it enough. I can't stress it enough. The balance of what we see today is, I mean, just from what I see, of course, you got the P. Diddy thing going on, and people are, you know, they were locked in with that. Then you got the Little Dirk thing going on. Then we had the election that just passed, and there were a lot of negative aspects attached to these things, you know. But if you want to talk about people making progress in the world, doing positive things, helping people, you don't see that as much. The algorithm just ignores those things. But anything that the algorithm sees more people are attracted to that's negative, they push it. And in a sense, it is by design. Now, if it's not put out there, you can't push what's not put out there. But if it's out there, then it's going to get pushed. It's going to get pushed. It doesn't matter. You could save half the world and it's not going to get the attention as one person doing one negative thing. And I know that could be, it's not an exaggeration, but you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. And just me looking at YouTube. Now, if you look at my YouTube history, there's a balance. There's a balance. I listen to people like Alan Watts or Earl Nightingale or what else do I listen to? 432 The Drop. I listen to these kind of people because they're giving information, they're giving knowledge, they're giving wisdom. But then you'll see something in my watch history where I watched something about the Little Dirk situation, or I've seen the latest beef situation between this person and that person, because it's like I'm interested in it. It doesn't make up who I am, but I do pay attention. But I balance that out with something that's going to make me think. When I go to sleep at night, I find something informative to listen to. So even when I'm asleep, subconsciously, I'm still taking in information that's going to help me. I balance it out, and even with my content that I put out, I don't do gossip. I don't do the drama. I don't say, hey, this is what's going on with these two people and this person did this and this person did that. Get your money. I respect people who put out the content that their audience gravitates toward. I'm not mad at that, but that's just not something that I can do or it's not something that I want to do. It's not that I can't do it. I just don't want to do it because if there's no drama to feed the people, then what do I have to give? Nothing. So I become dependent upon something bad happening just to tell other people who can go find it out for themselves. They don't need me. But what I prefer to do, I balance it out. I take my life experiences and the experiences of others that I've seen, and I give it back to people because that's what I was called here to do. I try to balance that. So even though I see all this other stuff, I can take the lessons from that and give it to people without even mentioning where I got it from, if that makes sense. So just being a well-balanced human being, that's very key. That's very key. You don't have to just give your attention and your focus to one thing. It's like a TV show or Netflix or whatever. You don't just have to watch dramas. You don't just have to watch comedies. You don't just have to watch documentaries. You can evenly divide your time and attention, but you have to be careful what you give it to, because if you take in too much of it, the negative, you can never get too much positive. I'll say that. You never get too much positive, but if you take in too much of the negative, then you don't understand how it's affecting you on a subconscious level, on a spiritual level, on a mental and psychological level. So, find ways to, heighten your sense of awareness, to balance out the other things that you might take in. It's not everybody has the mental dexterity to be able to differentiate the two. It's not like, people go watch a movie like The Equalizer with Denzel or something, and then they want to go out and just do harm to people. No, we are able to separate that, hey, this is just a movie. Like, I'm not about to go out here and do all of this stuff. And, but some people, they can't tell the difference between what's real and what's not, what's reality and what's entertainment for entertainment purposes only. And the balance it's just thrown off these days. It's just thrown off. And this new generation, I'm not even going to stick it all on them because there are people in their 30s, 40s, 50s who still carry on as if they haven't learned what life is all about. Now, I get it. We all grow at different speeds and different paces, but we live in an information age where it's right there if you really want to, and not just living in an information age, but our experiences. Once we get to a certain age, once we get to a certain maturity level, we should know. We should know. We should know. It doesn't make us not who we were, but it should make us better versions of who we're supposed to be. And that's where the balance comes in, because some people still want to hold on to old things or old mindsets, but not give way for the new version of themselves to come into play. And sometimes that does require balancing things out. If you balance it out and you take away the negative, you add some positive to it, you'll see a difference in your life. You will. You'll see a difference in your life. And, without that balance, you'll always, go whatever way the wind blows. You'll always go whatever way the wind blows. So, I sit back and I continue to observe, because I'm a very astute observer of people, of life, not just my life, but of other people's lives. And I see what makes them tick. I see what moves them. And we're all different. Some people are moved by the same things as others. But for the ones who I look at and I'm just like, wow, like they're really arguing about this, or they really think this is real, it's because they haven't found that balance yet. They haven't found that spot within themselves to say, hey, this is cool, but let me do this over here as well. Let me find something that will make me a better person. Because when you're in your teens and 20s, okay, it's one thing. But once, like I said, you get to your 30s, 40s, and 50s, and you're still entertaining negativity more than anything else. And even if that's not what you do behind the scenes, but that's what people see you as or associate with you, then that's a problem. Because I would rather have 10 people look at me for doing something positive than 1,000 look at me for doing something negative. That's just the bottom line. I don't need attention that much. I feel like we all have this ability to be positive. Maybe, but that's a whole different conversation. But we have a choice whether we want to be positive or not. We have a choice what we want to put out into the world. And when I look at a lot of content creators, a lot of it is for attention, because it's, hey, look at me, or they're taking what somebody else's misfortune and they're putting it out there. And then they become dependent on people's misfortunes, on the downsides of life, to continue to put that out there for people to consume. But then when you have people who are putting out positive things, putting out things things that can help people, the play ain't the same. It's just not the same. And I get it, and I respect it. Because if you're doing something for the right reason, you don't need to be noticed for it. You don't need the attention. But if the goal is to spread awareness, then yes, it should get just as much, if not more, attention. I'm going to say just as much attention as those who put out things that are negative. And that's just the bottom line. So the balance, there's no equity. I mean, it's not equitable. It's not equitable at all. So, you have to be careful, when you turn on YouTube or you turn on whatever, social media, it could be Facebook, TikTok, whatever. and you see a lot of negativity. It's by design, first and foremost. It's by design because they want to push that. But it's also by design because they know that there are a lot of people who are going to put it out there. So as long as they put it out there, then they can push it. They can push it. But there are thousands, thousands upon thousands of people who wake up every day trying to make a difference in this world. They don't care about who has what drama going on, who's going to jail, who's facing what charges. They don't care about any of that. Their main goal is to uplift people and get them to think. And they're providing that balance. I'm one of those people. You know, it doesn't make us better than anybody else. It doesn't. It doesn't make our point of view more valid, more important. It just means we're providing balance. And if we can't provide balance to those who need it or those who seek it, then, what are we doing? Because we can all get on here and talk about the negative stuff. The negative is it's just out there. It's just out there. We can talk about that for days. But there are things out there that sometimes people need to hear, and that will shift their mindset. Because if your mind is constantly bombarded with things that are going to dumb it down or things that distract it from what's real in this world, from the things that could, make a difference in somebody's life, and they don't get the opposite effect, they don't get the things that can help them, then they're going to stay in this cycle of negativity. It's going to be a perpetual landslide into failure, into depression, into all kind of things, because there are ramifications that comes with not having balance in your life. Same thing with not having a balanced work-life schedule, or balanced eating habits, whatever. There are always ramifications that come with that. So yes, it tastes good and it feels good. It tastes good when you just eat junk food all day, when you eat the food that you like, or when you're just resting all day, or when you're working all the time and you're making money, but then the burnout comes. The burnout comes. It always does. And it's the same thing with what you consume on social media, and you see all the negativity, the gossip, the drama. The burnout will come. I'm to the point where it's just like, I don't even like to see it like that anymore. Because what happens is you have 1,000 people run with the same story. So how many times can somebody tell you the same thing? When you hear it from the first couple of people, and it's kind of like, okay, they might provide a different perspective, okay, but then when you have this person and that person and those people, everybody's telling you the same thing in a rush to give you the same negative information, not the same positive information, but the same negative information. There is no balance. There is no balance. There is no balance. Everybody wants to be in a rush to tell you the same thing, to tell you what you already know. Meanwhile, there are people who are in the background, not begging for attention, not trying to force themselves to, into your site to give you good information. If you just come across it, then that's all that anybody can hope for. Because I come across a lot of small channels, a lot of smaller YouTubers or smaller social media accounts, but they're giving out big information, big, positive, helpful, balanced information. So balance is key. I don't want to talk too much about it, but I just want to get on here and go live for the first time. And that's just my perspective on it. It wasn't scripted. I didn't have anything laid out. I just said, let me get on here and talk about balance. And hopefully, like with anything that I do, I can give you something to think about. So when you see something, you can kind of balance that out and go find something else after to say, hey, let me go check this out, because it's out there and it does help. And, I just want to say that. And I'll see y'all again soon, hopefully, and yeah, this is Thomas Threats, and I'm signing off.